What is the secret of success to the Produttori del Barbaresco, in your opinion?
Two very important secrets, one by luck, one by vision.
Italian Wine Travel with Stevie Kim.
Hello, my name is Stevie Kim and welcome back to Italian Wine Podcast on the Road Edition. And you know what that means? That means that this episode will be broadcasted through our YouTube channel, Mama Jumbo Shrimp. So if you haven't subscribed, please push the subscribe button here. And if you'd like to give a thumbs up, even better. So we are moving now from Barolo to Barbaresco. And today we're here with the Chief Commander-in-Chief, Aldo Vacca of Produttori di Barbaresco. I'm so excited because it is by far one of our favorite co-ops in Italy in terms of wine companies. And it is very particular. So it is a co-op, and I'm going to have Aldo tell us a little bit, just give us a skinny history of what Produttori del Barbaresco is.
Yes, thank you, Stevie. So the winery, the cooperative, was founded in 1958 by the local priest. Don Fiorino was his name, and after a few years of talking and discussing, he was able to convince 19 farmers of the village of Barbaresco to group together, build a little winery across the street from the church, and instead of selling their grapes to the open market to other private wineries, he was able to convince them to vinify the grapes together, make wine together, sell the wine and share the profit. Not an easy task, because now Piedmontese farmers are notoriously a little narrow-minded, to say the least, especially in the 50s, but the priest had enough charisma to convince them. But what made Produttori Barbaresco special in the world of wine cooperatives was also the vision of the priest, because not only he convinced the 19 farmers to group together, but he also convinced them to make only one wine, that wine being Barbaresco. In those days, on these hills, like anywhere else in Piedmont, many grapes were grown and many different wines were made. He told to the farmers, I know you grow other varieties, keep those varieties at home, sell them to other wineries. Here, to the Produttori del Barbaresco winery in the center of the village, you bring only the Nebbiolo grapes, because here we're going to make only Barbaresco. We have to bring Barbaresco back where it belongs, side by side with Barolo. And we started that with that goal in 1958, and I would say we, as long as many other producers, have been quite successful in that.
And today, where are we? How many producers are there? Can you give me some numbers?
Yes, we still are in the same vision. So we crush only Nebbiolo grapes from the Barbaresco appellation. We make a Barbaresco, some Barbaresco single vineyards, and then a Langhe Nebbiolo, which is our second wine, if you want to say, also from 100% from Barbaresco, but sold younger, therefore it carries the Langhe appellation. 54 farmers now, 120 hectares, which is basically 16% of the total Barbaresco appellation.
Aha.
And we make about 650,000 bottles every year. And the production has been relatively stable in the last 10 years, but has been steadily growing through the 90s and the first part of the new millennium, because our farmers, every time an old vineyard of Dolcetto, Barbera, Moscato needs to be replanted, these days they tend to plant Nebbiolo. Nebbiolo is the fastest growing grape variety in the Langhe, in Piedmont, if you want to say so. Yeah, we make 9 single vineyards, 9 crus. They're all sold with the white label, 25-30% of the total production of the winery. Another 20-25% is the Langhe Nebbiolo, the young wine that we make for earlier consumption. And then the bulk of the production, 50-55%, is the Barbaresco that we make by blending Nebbiolo grapes from different vineyards in the Barbaresco appellation.
However, Aldo, I would like for you to talk about the symbol. This is not on the label,
yeah,
right?
So we have on the Barbaresco wine, the straight Barbaresco, which is our main wine. There is a little drawing of the village of Barbaresco itself. You can see the tower, the church, and the winery where we are here now is next to the church in the little square. So this kind of symbolizes our deep connection with the village itself. It's a cooperative, 54 farmers, 54 villagers. So we like to have the Barbaresco village on the label. It's very significant for us. On our reserve program, we have this nice poster. We call it the Gianduia, but it's basically a knight holding a bottle of Barbaresco. This poster was created in 1910 by the man we consider the father of Barbaresco, Mr. Domizio Cavazza was the owner of the castle. He was the first one that decided to call the wine Barbaresco. He started to make wine in the castle, but what he did, a little bit like the priest in 1958, in 1894, he convinced 9 landowners of the village, including my grand-grandfather, by the way, to bring their Nebbiolo grapes to the castle in order to make wine together, sell the wine with the name of the village, and share in the profits. 10 years later, in 1967, we started to make single vineyards, and we decided to dedicate the single vineyard to Mr. Cavazza, so we put the name, the poster that he created to promote Barbaresco on our label, and now it's kind of our main logo.
So Aldo, let me ask you a question. Produttori del Barbaresco is a co-op. When we think of co-ops in the wine business, we don't think of them as a very necessarily quality wines. Well, those are exceptions to the rule. And what is the secret of success to the Produttori del Barbaresco, in your opinion? 2
very important secrets. One by luck, one by vision. The luck was that Barbaresco, when the winery was founded in 1958, was definitely less developed as a wine region than Barolo. After 2 World War and fascism, there was not much consumption of Barbaresco anyway. So the 19 farmers that joined to form the Produttori, that soon became 20, 25, 30, they actually own some of the great crus. So we are probably the only, if not one of the very few wine cooperative that can claim control on Grand Crus, on a lot of the top vineyards of the region. And of course, when you work with good terroir, that's always a good start. So the decision to make only Barbaresco proved quintessential, not only for the success of the company, but also to build the quality mindset among the growers. And so that put our farmers a little ahead of the general farmers thinking of the region. Was always clear to us that in order to be successful, we needed to make a good, high quality for a fair price. And that's pretty much our standards these days.
All right, you're making my mouth water now. So that's a good segue to taste these 2 wines today. So what are we tasting today?
So we can start with the Barbaresco 2020, is the current release. Now, the wine has been aged for 20 months in oak, large barrels. And so very neutral, long time in barrels. This wine was bottled 1 year ago. So 1 year in the bottles.
So this is the current release?
Current release, 2020. Yeah, we tend to release a little later. Officially now in Barbaresco you can release 21, but we just started with 2020. So and you get this bright spiciness, the red cherry aromas, quite nicely integrated. Of course, it's not a wine to be sipped; it's a wine to be matched with food.
Yeah, it's.
You get the tannin, the nice long tannin finish. It's young, but it's quite enjoyable, I think. The Ovello is 2019, so the Ovello has 1 extra year in wood, 20 months for the Barbaresco.
But the same wood?
Same wood. 30, 36 months for the Ovello, so extra time in wood, but it's very neutral wood. So the difference is really the terroir. The Ovello is the best selection from the Ovello vineyard. And this Ovello vineyard is an area which is a little cooler than some of the other vineyards in Barbaresco, a little higher clay in the soil, so the tannins are a little more aggressive, but the fruit, the nose is very youthful and bright. So you get a little extra dimension here.
Okay, and just one last thing before we go, Nebbiolo.
Yes.
We're not tasting today, but in general, there is a big, I suppose because of the success of Barolo and Barbaresco, there's
exactly so.
There is a limit of the capacity, so everyone else is planting Nebbiolo, hence Nebbiolo from Langhe, right? That is the big movement right now.
If you have a vineyard in the appellation of Barolo and the appellation of Barbaresco, planted with Nebbiolo, you're allowed to call the wine Barbaresco. If you're outside Barbaresco and Nebbiolo, but still in the larger Langhe region, and you plant Nebbiolo, you have to call the wine Langhe Nebbiolo. So a lot of people are planting Nebbiolo in the Langhe region just to make Langhe Nebbiolo because it's an appellation that is attracting a lot of attention. Of course, it's half the price of Barolo and Barbaresco, sometimes even less. It delivers a similar
so
flavor.
incredible value, right?
Incredible
Even for
value,
the end consumers.
For us, the Langhe Nebbiolo is still what it was used to be, a second wine for Barbaresco. So our Langhe Nebbiolo label is 100% Barbaresco fruit that we downgrade to Langhe Nebbiolo. So yes, it's a second quality grape compared to the Barbaresco, but it is, especially from warm vintages, it's quite nice and warm, 14% alcohol, nice and round, and it delivers the terroir of Barbaresco. So if you taste our Langhe Nebbiolo, you get that extra spicy brightness in the fruit, which is typical of the Barbaresco terroir.
With that, it's a wrap for today. We will have to come back and study more. There's so much to study in Barbaresco, but today was our first time coming to Barbaresco for our audience. And that is it. It's a wrap. Cheers.
Thank you, guys.
Chin
Thank you, Stevie.
with Italian wine people. Until next time. Ciao ragazzi.
Ciao.